everybody, Scratch coming up with another Raid Shadow Legends video. This is gonna be another clan boss video, guys. So, we've done the War Crusher comp. A lot of you guys asked, can I replace Seeker with X, Y, Z, etc.? No, you cannot replace Seeker only with another champion in the game. And at least at the moment in that format with those speeds, the only replacement for Seeker that you can have in the game, unfortunately for a lot of you guys, because probably if you don't have a Seeker, it's gonna be much harder to have a Mashalet, right? So my Salat right here, guys, he's the only replacement for Seeker. Now, the way this sort of teams work, how we have it right here, places a 30% increased speed on a 3-turn cooldown, but he gets an extra turn, okay? So that's why Seeker is good as well. He boosts turn meter and gains an extra turn, bringing this skill right here on a 2-turn cooldown rather than the actual 3. That's why these two champions are the only ones viable for those sort of teams to work. We got a new champion as well that got released recently, honestly. Now, let me just find him quick. Actually, I'm in the wrong faction by the looks of it. He's the Sacred Order, sorry. So we have Deacon Armstrong right here. He's kind of a boosting turn meter, granting extra turn. The only problem is this turn meter is 15%, Seeker has 30%. So it's huge the difference in between those. So I think it's going to be pretty hard to actually be able to make a 2-to-1 ratio with this champion on a decent amount of speeds. It will be easier to pair him, for example, with a Mashalid and make a 2-to-1 ratio team like that rather than just on its own. But it's going to be pretty hard. So how I said, unfortunately, they need to have an extra turn. That's why the only champion viable is Mashalid. So I'm going to show you a run. The team works a bit differently. You're not able to actually get Relentless on your Draco, for example, because you're losing the speed buff. So that's going to screw you over. You're not able to do that. So let's bring in Draco right here. Let me just bring all the champions. I'm going to show you the speeds, the rotation. You're actually going to have to manual a bit longer. It actually, you can click auto only from like turn 3. And it gets set up in a 2-to-1 ratio starting from turn 9. So you are missing a bit of damage on that one in the meantime while you getting to be set on a 2-to-1 ratio compared to the other Barrier comps, which literally 1 turn or 2 turns and you're bang in the damage there. So that's the team right here. The only thing we changed, instead of a Seeker, we have a Mashalet here. Speeds are different, so the speeds are pretty different on all the champions. So the way you're starting these guys, you're gonna use a A2 on Mashalid. Now you have a delay of 2 turns on Renegade and a delay of 5 turns on Warcaster right here. And then you can click auto. So turn 3, I'll show you how it's gonna work. Either A1, either A2, use whatever you want. Probably I would suggest you to have a accuracy on Mashalid, just for the simple fact that you have to survive quite a few turns. You don't want the champions to get low on HP. That might mess up the stun. So having the leech is not a bad idea, honestly. So A2 here. We're not gonna use his A3 for 5 turns, okay? When he gets his 6th turn, that's when we're gonna use that. And with Renegade, 2 turns, we're not gonna use the A3. We're gonna go A2. Here we can go poisons. Okay. Draco can be replaced by Fane. Fane is probably the best replacement for Draco. You have a Venus. You can run Venus, of course. There are a lot of other champions out there that drop a defense down, weaken, and they deal damage as well, guys. So honestly, as long as the champion looks like he hits hard, he's a good replacement. As long as he at least brings you the debuffs, right? A defense down or a weaken, something like that. So we're on turn 2. Now we're gonna use the A3 with Renegade on turn 2 right here. You see the turn meter, how it is as well. So we're gonna go with that. Mashalid is gonna buff. Extra turn. Draco can do this actually. And we're gonna do this here. Counter attack. And we can do this. Get that HP back on track. Skull Crusher getting the stun, of course. We're gonna do A1 here with him, and we're gonna click auto. From here on, we should be safe. So the team is gonna get on a 2-to-1 ratio starting from turn 9. Now, How I said, you are not able to get Relentless on any of these champions, okay? Having Relentless will make them lose the speed buff from a Shallot, and that's gonna throw the team off, okay? So that's not gonna be a 2-to-1 ratio anymore, and everything's gonna get messed up. So you cannot, I repeat, you cannot use Relentless gear. Again, this team is not gonna work on Spirit, just for the simple fact that you're gonna have decreased speed, and honestly, even if you are putting in, for example, a Doom Priest, which it could counter it if you put a Doom Priest at the exact same speed of Draco. It's gonna counter that problem for you, but it's not gonna do a lot of damage. So let's just say you manage to hit a key on Void, and then you're moving to Spirit, or you're gonna try to 2-key it on a Spirit, for example. It's gonna be pretty hard to get the damage that you need with Doom Priest, honestly, but it might work. You might be able, with a Doom Priest in a Toxic set, to get near 30-35 million damage. If you're lucky and you have decent gear, I think you would be able to do it. So from here on, we're on a 2-to-1 ratio. Turn 10, we have only 9 million damage. We are missing a bit time to time on the issue with Draco not landing defense down and weaken because of the decreased cooldown from Renegade. The way we get it is kind of trying to land the poisons rather than weaken and defense down, and that kind of creates us a bit of an issue. We're missing on a bit of damage. How you guys can see, if the poison bar is full of poisons, we don't have a place to land that defense down and weaken, so all the damage that the rest of the champions do and all the damage we're getting from a War Master procs is less than it should be because we don't have weaken and defense down. But how I said, because we cannot run Relentless on it, we do not have a tech up like Seeker offers, for example, we're not going to be able to 1-key with this team unless we have like insane gear, right? Like my champions are pretty well geared and we're not 1-keying it. You see the poison bar is full. Now, 30% increased crit rate buff from a Shallot is nothing compared to increased attack, honestly. Like, it's a minimal increase in damage just by having that buff is honestly nothing. So if you have a Seeker, definitely go with it. The reason I made it is because a lot of you, and I repeat, a ton of you guys asked, can we replace Seeker with this champion, with that champion, with the other champion? Well, this is the only way it will work, the only replacement, right? So I said I'm going to make a video to show you guys. Some of you might be lucky enough to have a Shallot but don't have a Seeker, honestly. It can happen. I still have epics that they've been avoiding me for tons and tons of times, so I can definitely see it happening with a Seeker and a Shallot to other people, for example. So the stun goes again on Skull Crusher without a problem. Changing the stun champion, it shouldn't be an issue as long as you are able to bring in a strong champion on a very tanky, sorry, that has very high base defense, is able to land that defense up on himself to buff the team. So like that is gonna survive up to turn 50. I've actually done teams before with Sepulture Sentinel surviving up to turn 50 just with her own buff and being the lead as well and taking the stun. So I'm pretty sure she should be able to do the same thing here. The only problem is she's on a 4-turn cooldown, so that's kind of gonna mess up a bit the whole rotation of the team here. So you might wanna rely on a Grizzle Gel, for example, or something like that that actually gives you a nice aura as well. Or even a Martyr, for example. She could do it. Valkyrie, she's only viable for Void Affinity. If you're running Valkyrie on any different affinity, you're gonna have issues with her passive. So a lot of you guys don't notice, but the clan boss actually is gonna buff with attack up when it's on non-void, and that's when Valkyrie will gain Termitor from her passive because the enemy actually buffed. So you definitely want to avoid that. So we've been on a 2-to-1 ratio for like what, 14 turns now, 15 turns. We're almost on 28 million damage. How you guys can see, we're kind of missing on weaken here. We could actually run Shallot without accuracy, and that will definitely guarantee us to have the bar full with poisons and defense down. But how I said, it might mess up the stun, especially on the first 9 turns, you know. That's my only concern. So if you try it, do let me know as well. I'm pretty curious as well how it works out for you. So far seems like we're on turn 26, 31 million damage. I think we'll be able to hit around 60 million. So even though it's not a 1 key, like a Seeker, for example, it still gives hope to a lot of you guys out there that are struggling. You might not have better champions to make an unkillable team. So even 2 key is something that I would gladly take home, right? Like when I started doing Ultra Nightmare Clan Boss, there were no unkillable teams actually when it came out, and I think it took me like 5 keys to get the top chest. So I kind of gave up and slowly waited for it to be able to get some 6-star gear when it came out together with the clan boss, if I remember it right. Get the right accuracy, the right speeds, because it was such a big shift from a Nightmare to Ultra Nightmare when a Ultra Nightmare clan boss got released. So it was a lot of hassle for most of us. But how you guys can see, we're not that far from actually being able to 1 key with this team as well, you see. So probably if we would drop that leech and the accuracy from Charlotte, we should be able to get to 1 key. Turn 30 with 37 million damage, we're only like 4 or 5 turns extra, so we gotta recover a few 100k damage per turn in order to be able to get to 1 key with the team the way we have it right now. But then of course you kind of need similar build with what I have, similar stats, crit damage, crit rate, attack. So for a few of you it might be difficult to make that happen, you know. So 40 million damage already on turn 33. As long as that defense down and weaken stays there, we definitely have a much better value on hits to deal better damage as well. Okay, so far so good. I am pretty curious to try a similar team with a Feint, for example. I have a feeling Feint might be a bit better than Draco in a way. She does hit when she lands the debuffs, defense, and weaken down. And because Renegade decreases the cooldown by 2 rather than 1, the same day, like Painkeeper does in the normal Barrier, she will actually land more poisons, keep the debuffs up all the time. So I think she's gonna be pretty strong in a team like this as well. She might not keep the poison bar as full as Draco, but she might keep it on the right line, you know. I got a 6-star Feint as well. I actually saved a few to make sure I'm gonna 6-star one at some point. So if I'm not doing it this training event that's gonna start tomorrow or today, I can't even remember, I'm gonna do it in the next one. Whenever we're gonna get a training event or champion, a training tournament, whatever we're gonna get, I'm gonna have to 6-star Feint as well. So turn 40, we are on 47 million damage. Almost 50 million here. If we would have been able to actually run Relentless on Draco, that would have been awesome as well. But unfortunately, we cannot do that. Okay, so 50 million damage. We have 10 more turns. Let's see what damage we're pumping from here, so we can see about, on average per turn, how much damage we're actually pumping up, because I haven't really paid attention to it. I've only done one run before and we've done 56 million damage, I think. That was on stream when I was actually building the team. So if you guys want to see like the way we're building teams, the way we're testing things, we're building arena teams, and just generally coaching and stuff, feel free to drop on Twitch. We're streaming almost every day, usually Wednesday to Sunday, 6:30 p.m. UK time. Same name like I have it on YouTube, Scratch AK47. Feel free to drop by. We're having lots of fun trying a lot of new things and learning a lot of things actually. So if you're curious of any of this stuff, feel free to drop by. So turn 44, 55 million damage. So we're almost doing 1.5 million damage per turn. Which is not bad, honestly. But it's not that great either. Not that great either. Considering that it's a 2-to-1 ratio team, you know. If you've seen the Knight Aaron video that I made, and I used a normal 1-to-1 ratio clan boss team with counter attack and ally attack, we've been doing in that comp 1 million per turn. With no poisons at all, you know. So that being said, it's not that great, but still not too bad either. near 1.5 million there, yeah. Then 48, 60 million damage. So it might have potential to 1 key, honestly. Getting that down the accuracy from a Shalit, I think it might make it happen, but then it might create other issues, you know. So feel free to try it. Let me know in the comments down below if you try with no accuracy, you had issues with the stun. Maybe you didn't, but I have a feeling it might happen because we gotta survive for so many turns, you know. So we're short actually 8 million damage. Let's just call it 8 million damage. We short 8 million damage to 1 key it. This is the second run. I haven't tried to do anything too crazy with the team. I just wanted to show you how you set it up. The replacement for Seeker, here it is, Mashaled instead. So we have Skullcrusher with 6 million damage, Draco with almost 30, Mashaled with 14, Warcaster with 6, and Renegade with 6.6 million damage. I'm well surprised to see that she's doing more damage than Warcaster and Skullcrusher at the same time, honestly. I don't know, I find it weird. But yeah, impressive actually, rather than just call it weird. So let's have a quick look at the champions, guys. The build that we have on them, stats. So I'll be writing you in the comments down below the speeds as well, so I make it easier for you guys to pick it up. So I'm gonna start with the fastest champion. Is Mashaled. So he is 253 speed, okay? He needs to be 1 speed faster than a Warcaster, 1 or 2 speed. The problem is, he's gonna be very tight. So you cannot pass 253 with Mashaled. If you go to 254, it's gonna throw everything out of sync. But at the same time with Warcaster, you cannot go under 251. Or 250 might still work, I can't remember exactly, but 251, 252, 253 to make it in between these two champions. So that's a very important thing you gotta keep in mind. If not, you're gonna have issues with the team. So that's Mashaled. Not insane attack. Decent crit damage, but honestly, not insane attack. So Masteries on him, again, I actually had to reset him because I had a Cycle of Magic on him. I have tier 6 War Master. Rather than that, anything that gives me 10 meter of Cycle of Magic out of the list. Lord of Steel out of the list, because that can literally calculate the speed wrong, especially that we're on such a tight limit on the speeds there. You don't want to mess that up. So that's Mashaled right here for you guys. Then we have the second fastest, Warcaster, and he is on 251. I'm pretty sure this was the lowest, 251. So make sure you're not going lower than that, unless you're putting it in the calculator and it's still working, it's giving you the same rotation. Not insane attack, decent amount of crit damage, crit rate, masteries, offense, defense 3. We have a retribution here. You can get deterrence on him if you like. Change the masteries from a kill streak. Whenever Skullcrusher is gonna get a stun, he might have a chance to counter attack. That might bump you a bit of more damage. Then the next champion that is the fastest is Renegade. Let me just, or actually it was Skullcrusher, sorry. Skullcrusher is faster than Renegade. Those are the total stats. 225 speed. Now, 225, 226, 227 works just fine. Those are the speeds that I've put in the calculator and played around with. 224, it already changed the rotation if I remember it right. So 224 is not working, okay? So this is like the minimum. Masteries, again, same situation. Then we have Renegade, and she is right here. 205 speed, 206 works. She was pretty tight as well on speeds, so 1 plus minus it can go, but do not change them more than that. If you're desperate, wait to get glyphs, farm the lower stages. Don't change the speeds like a madman, because you won't be able to tune the team properly. 4k attack, 233 crit damage, full crit rate, 205 speed. Masteries, again, how I said, nothing that affects turn meter. So that's Renegade right there. And the last champion, which is the slowest in the team, of course, is Draco. So let me just make sure I'm getting the right one. So there it is. How I said, you cannot run him on Relentless, okay? So he is on 187 speed. Now this one right here, again, it cannot be changed, only 1 up or 1 down. That's it. If you're passing more than 1 up or down, the team is gonna fail again. So the speeds, how I said, they are really, really tight. So make sure you guys are respecting this in order to make the team to function. 5.3k attack, 264 crit damage. We're missing a bit of crit rate here because literally I just wanted to get the speed and take them in for a go to see how the team works out. Masteries, offense and defense 3. I really don't think it's gonna be a good idea to go on support 3 for him and get Master Hexer. You've seen that we actually got the cooldowns of the skills so often that I think would actually create a problem for him to go with Master Hexer. He will be missing on too many poisons, and I would not suggest you to do that. So that was the build, guys. Let me know your thoughts on the team. How many of you actually have Mashalit but don't have Seeker? I'm well curious about that. How I said, I'll put the speeds in the comments down below. You've seen the rotation. It's not hard to set it up. It just takes a few extra turns to make it happen. And no, for this specific team, you cannot use a Maneater instead. Maneater has the Unkillable on 5-turn cooldown, and that's not gonna work. Now, let me know what you think of the team in the comments down below. Appreciate you all guys watching. If you did enjoy the video, don't forget to thumbs up, subscribe for more content, turn on notifications to see when we upload next, and I'll see you all soon on another video. Till then, peace out.